By the time today passes, the equivalent of a new kindergarten class will have been born at Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children and Women in Orlando, Florida. No small feat for a facility designed to handle just half that volume. In 2004, well over 10,500 births took place in a facility designed in 1989 to handle 6,900. Neonatal intensive care occupancy was often at capacity. Bursting at the seams, hospital administrators studying local trends knew they had to do something. That something was to develop a plan for an entirely new hospital for women and babies across the street. After much analysis, forecasting, and discussion, a new hospital holding 273 beds was chosen. In order to make the new building project go smoothly, project management techniques were used. Projects are a series of related tasks directed toward a major output, in this case, a new hospital building. Projects are headed by project managers who direct team members to be sure all necessary activities are completed in proper sequence and on time, the project comes in on budget, quality goals are met, and project team members get the motivation, direction, and information needed to do their jobs. A work breakdown structure is required to show how tasks are broken down to the activities needed to be completed. At the top level is the project itself, then major tasks, subtasks in major tasks, and the activities within the tasks that need to be completed. Let's see how Arnold Palmer Hospital used project management for its new building project.
It was important to us to provide an environment for our patients that was different than we have provided for them in the past, moving from an institutional environment to more of a hotel type environment. We believe that the environment does have an impact on one's recovery and happiness while in the facilities, and that was important to us. We also wanted to build this hospital in a very cost-effective way, both in terms of the upfront construction cost as well as the ongoing operational cost of running the hospital. So we wanted to come up with a solution that got a lot of bang for our buck, in a sense. We knew that with the increases in supply costs and labor costs, that wasn't going to be easy, but we knew that there was an opportunity to be creative, to do it differently, while at the same time doing it for less.
Hodges and his staff spent 13 months discussing expansion needs involving doctors, nurses, patients, and the community before developing a proposal for the new $100 million facility.
We had initially 35 user groups, and within each of those user groups we tried to assemble sort of a multidisciplinary mix. We had physicians, we had nurses, we had respiratory therapists, we had child life staff, we had social workers, we had environmental service workers, food and nutrition workers, everybody, because everybody has a role here, everybody has a very important role here.
We had a finance team. We had a budget team. We had a certificate of need team. We went down the list and said, what are the tasks that are going to be required to be completed, and developed the teams around that. We then took and those teams and rolled them up into what we call our core team. Some people refer to it as the Supreme Court, but the core team that then met and coordinated each of the different efforts from the individual teams to be sure, again, that we were addressing the issues, solving the issues, and putting a plan in place to actually accomplish the different steps that were required to be done.
And we have estimated that we have had well over 1,000 planning meetings to get this hospital exactly the way that we want it.
Some of the new hospital's features were driven by existing design limitations.
We really utilized our frontline staff and asked them, what do you like about this building? What don't you like? We were able to mock up 3 of our typical rooms that are used throughout the new Women and Babies Hospital. This is our postpartum suite, our labor and delivery suite, and a typical neonatal room. And what this allowed us to do is we put drywall up, brought a couple beds down there, and we first worked out the flow and operations of each of those rooms. Staff took butter paper and they allowed themselves ourselves to find out, okay, where would I want to plug? What drives me crazy in the current design that I can change because I'm part of the process this time? So we put in the fact that this is where I want to light a plug. This is the family space, this is the patient space, and then this is the caregiver space. We took it to a second level in June of 2004, and we said, okay, let's fill the rooms or build them out completely. So what we did was we put the artwork on the walls, we put all of the furniture and equipment in. We looked at some of the custom-built cabinetry and says, does this work for what you need? And based on that, we actually made a third mock-up.
Funding and regulatory issues added substantial complexity to this major expansion, and Carl Hodges was concerned that the project stay on time and within budget. Tom Hyatt, Director of Facilities Development, was given the on-site project management task. Arnold Palmer Hospital depended heavily on MS Project, one of the most popular project management programs. They used all the project management techniques described in this chapter of your text. The new building officially opened its doors to the community in the spring of 2006. Has all the project management effort paid off?
It's been the experience of a lifetime. For me, I've said that over and over again, and I think for the whole administrative team. We have really been involved with something that will truly leave a legacy in this community, and we're so proud of that.
Managing this massive project took 4 years. From the pre-planning Kathy Swanson described, to the years of construction Carl Hodges and Tom Hyatt directed, to the final ribbon cutting. It's a perfect example of how important PERT and CPM are in operations management. Without tools like MS Project, which is detailed in this chapter, there was no way for Arnold Palmer's managers to stay on top of the hundreds of often conflicting activities. Try tackling the video case study at the end of this chapter to get a feel for Tom Hyatt's use of PERT and CPM.